They say the best revenge is living well. That's a nice idea. Clean. Polite. The kind of sentence people repeat because it sounds wise. But it's not entirely true. The real best revenge? It's sitting across the table from the people who think they've already won, and letting them believe it, right up until the moment everything shifts. Welcome back to Dad's True Revenge. Get comfortable. Because this one doesn't explode, it unfolds. The thing about being rich is simple. Nobody believes you when you look poor. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I drive a 2006 Toyota Tacoma. The passenger mirror's cracked. Has been for 3 years. I keep meaning to fix it. Never do. I wear a Casio watch. Not as a statement. Not as some billionaire joke. It tells time. It doesn't die. That's enough. Most people see me and assume I'm comfortable at best. Retired, maybe. They'd never guess that for the past 22 years, I've owned Colton Marsh Industries, a manufacturing and logistics company operating across 14 states, employing just under 4,000 people. We don't make headlines. We make everything else work. And I like it that way. My daughter Lacey, however, did not inherit my love of invisibility. She's sharp. Confident. Beautiful in a way that turns heads without trying. And unfortunately, she has a weakness for men who know it. When she brought Clayton Hale home 3 things as polished instead of tested. Still, he wasn't incompetent. Smart. Controlled. Charismatic. The kind of person who walks into a room and quietly rearranges it. So I did what I always do. I looked deeper. I had him vetted. Yes, I investigated my daughter's boyfriend. I don't apologize for that. And what I found was impressive. So when Lacey told me she was serious, I did something I had never done before. I made a decision based on emotion. I made Clayton Hale the CEO of my company. Without him ever knowing I owned it. To Clayton, it was a dream job. He was headhunted. Interviewed by a board. Selected based on merit. And to be fair, he earned most of it. I just opened the door. Lacey thought I'd lost my mind. Dad, she said that night, sitting at my kitchen counter, this is literally a soap opera. I told her, no. It's insurance. She gave me that look. The one that says, I love you, but something is deeply wrong with you. For 14 months, everything worked. Better than I expected. Clayton didn't just manage the company, he improved it. Which, if I'm being honest, annoyed me slightly. Because it meant Lacey might actually be right about him. And I wasn't ready to admit that. Then one evening, he called me. Frank, he said warmly, I want you to come to dinner. Meet my parents properly. Something about the way he said it sat wrong. Not alarm bells. Just a shift. They've been asking about you, he added. That's when my instincts sharpened. People don't ask about you without a reason. Still, I said yes. Because I don't avoid discomfort. I walk toward it. The restaurant was the kind of place where nobody looks at the prices. Where the staff introduces themselves like they're part of the experience. Clayton met me at the door, polished as always. He glanced at my flannel. Smiled anyway. To his credit, he didn't flinch. His parents were already seated. Stuart and Norma Hale. And within seconds, I knew. There's a pattern to people hiding something. They overcompensate. Too warm. Too welcoming. Smiles that arrive before the eyes. We talked. Small things. Safe things. Until Stuart reached into his jacket. And placed an envelope on the table. Carefully. Deliberately. Like it mattered. Frank, he said, lowering his voice, there are things about your past we need to discuss. Clayton didn't look up. That's when I knew. I didn't open the envelope. Not yet. Because moments like this? They're not about information. They're about control. And control belongs to the person who refuses to rush. So I ate. Slowly. Let the silence stretch. 45 seconds. Long enough to make discomfort visible. Then I opened it. I didn't need to read much. One name was enough. Victor Marsh. In 1987, Victor and I were partners. Young. Broke. Ambitious. We built something from nothing. And he stole from it. Quietly. Patiently. Until there was nothing left to steal. When I found out, I didn't explode. I documented everything. For 6 months. Every transaction. Every lie. And then I gave him a choice. Leave, or lose everything publicly. He chose to disappear. I rebuilt alone. And I never looked back. What I didn't know was that he had a younger brother. A boy who grew up hearing only one version of the story. A boy who believed his brother was the victim. That boy was Stuart Hale. I want you to resign, Stuart said. Calm. Controlled. And cool. I let that sit for a moment. Then I reached into my own pocket. And placed my envelope on the table. Victor kept records, I said. But only the ones that made him look clean. Inside mine? Everything else. Bank transfers. Shell companies. Affidavits. Proof. The room shifted. You could feel it. That quiet moment when certainty dies. He destroyed himself, I said simply. Stuart didn't argue. Because he couldn't. Then I turned to Clayton. And told him the truth. You work for me. Silence. Heavy. Absolute. I own the company, I continued. Have for 22 years. The job you earned? Real. The opportunity? Mine. You could see it hit him. Not like a shock. Like gravity. Why? He asked. Simple. Honest. Because you married my daughter, I said. And I needed to know who you really were. That's when everything changed. Not the room. Him. He turned to his father. And for the first time, pushed back. Not emotionally. Clearly. You used me, he said. Flat. Controlled. And Stuart had no answer. That was the moment I knew. Clayton wasn't his father. Eventually, Stuart left. Defeated. Not dramatically. Just, quietly undone. And then it was just us. Clayton looked at me. Serious now. Grounded. Do you trust me? He asked. I thought about it. Then answered honestly. Yes. Because trust isn't about perfection. It's about what a man does when the truth is placed in front of him. We finished dinner. Ordered dessert. Because life doesn't stop for drama. Later, I drove home in my old truck. Same cracked mirror. Same quiet road. And I thought about something simple. People think revenge is about destruction. It's not. It's about control. About patience. About building something so strong, that when someone finally comes for you, you're already ready. My phone buzzed. A message from Clayton. I told Lacey everything. She says you're impossible. I smiled. Typed back. Tell her the flannel built her inheritance. Some men build empires to prove something. I built mine. To protect something. And that's the difference. If you made it this far, you already know, you're going to want more stories like this. So hit subscribe, drop a comment, and stick around. Because trust me, this wasn't even the coldest revenge I've seen.